Hey guys, it's Cyrus of Chaos. I'm here with Sid Kumbla, and today we're going to be watching his bout against Pierre Loisel from France in the Verona Junior World Championships in 2018. So, Sid, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us why you picked this bout?
Hey guys, I'm Sid. I'm a current rising senior at Columbia in the fencing team there. I chose this bout specifically because it is a bout that I think I can remember the most of. Like I have a very clear memory about every touch and kind of my thoughts going to the bout. And I thought like talking about my thoughts and kind of talking about the bout in whole would be useful for people that just kind of want to have an interesting perspective of what goes on inside the fencer's mind and during the fencer's actions from a first-handed view, I guess.
Yeah, totally. A lot of the time when you watch a bout of somebody else fencing, you kind of have to guess what they're thinking based on the way the action unfolds. When you have someone who's actually fenced the bout, you can do a bit more of a deep dive, which is always interesting. So,
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess like the one thing I would say is that just like speaking to the background going into this bout. So like obviously when you're fencing a top eight bout, this is kind of like a top eight make or break, right? So Sam and I and Jeffrey and Nick, we all kind of had this mentality, and it was shared among all of us that like going to Worlds is very important and doing well. And we've been to Worlds before, but medaling in Worlds was like the actual like achievement that we would really appreciate, right? So we always thought about medaling as a big opportunity. So going into this bout, I placed a lot of importance coming into the top eight, and I was a little bit nervous. On top of that, actually, so I was injured going into the competition as a whole, right? So I had a stress fracture on my ankle,
ooh,
and I basically wrapped it up like really tight to the point where my ankle wouldn't shift when I was fencing. And the adrenaline really helped me. I mean, obviously throughout the whole competition, but even more so in like the final bouts, because it really goes to show like the intensity really masked all the pain. And like right after this bout ends, I like walk off and I'm like, I was just in so much pain. And then right when I start my next bout, like everything disappeared.
yeah, the
But
adrenaline helps a
it,
lot with that too. So,
yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest thing was like I had this in the back of my mind that like I wasn't at my best, and rather than taking it as like a negative, I kind of put it in as like I'm not at my best, so I have to go even harder. I have to try even harder to beat this guy
yeah.
because I'm not at full shape right now. And I think that was actually something that helped me throughout the competition. And I'd even go as far as saying as like I don't think I would have done as well, ironically, had I not been injured
Yeah, it's
because I
interesting
had
how
this
that
mentality. Yeah.
interesting how that happens sometimes, right? I know personally some of my best fencing has either been when I was sick or a little bit injured, and it's almost like you don't have the like the flexibility to be like lazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to make every like movement count more because you're not 100% interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and we talked about that in the previous video with the foil squad. Like you can't get like when you lose your stuff on a plane or when you have something go wrong, right? You don't get negligent anymore. You start focusing I don't have. There's an excuse already to lose, right? So you have to really focus in and kind of give it more than you usually do.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So you've fenced him once before, right? And the last time
hmm
was in Paris, and the score was 15-14. Is that right?
Yeah. So I fenced him in Paris, and it was another top eight bout or top 16 bout. It was a top 16 bout, and we had never fenced before. But what had happened in Paris is we were going 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5. We got up to 10-10. He pushes up to 13-10, and then I catch up to 14, and then it gets to 14-14, and then I win. So it was kind of I played catch up at the very end. And coming to the bout, I was like, no, we got to start off strong. Unfortunately, I don't know if that actually it was a mix of him really adapting and really changing, and it was very clear because in Paris there was a lot of stuff I did that just absolutely did not work in this bout, and it was really good on him, and I think I was very very impressed by how he's able to just change so fast, and it was I mean it was a clear tactical change made by him and his coach, I think. So like kudos to him because he came out strong in the beginning of this bout for sure.
Yeah. We're gonna start now, but if you see something like that happening, like tell us that like this was working last time and it didn't work this time, for example. Yeah.
Sounds good.
And if you want me to pause or slow anything down or go back, just let me know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just a quick comment. Even there in the beginning, right? These two, the first touch, he knows that every time I pull my arm back, I'm gonna try to go for that side flick of mine, and that was what I was nailing him in Paris. And the first touch, he shows me, hey, you can't do that anymore against me.
Yeah.
And he closes me in, right? He closes right when I pull back. He closed in, and I still didn't understand that this guy has actually made a plan. Like, I was coming into the bout like, let's just try to fence, let's try to win. This guy came into the bout saying, we have a plan to win. We have a plan to win. Every time he pulls back, I'm closing in. Every time he kind of rushes forward, I know where he's going. So that was a big thing that happened, I guess. That marks the first touch shows early signs of what he's thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, you see right there, he just doesn't give you any chance to do that.
Yeah, doesn't give me a chance, yeah. Yeah.
Would you say that was more reactive on your part, or were you trying to push forward and you just saw that he was doing that as well?
Yeah, I think definitely, like you said, reactive, right? It's just a small step forward in the box. You see the prep. You see I committed a little bit earlier than him. He kind of made a mistake, and you get that prep touch, right? Not really a planned out touch at all, right? That's just like feeling, right? Like small stuff like that gets you touches, and those touches lead up to victory. So I think that's more of like a prep touch essentially at that point.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from good technique, just being ready at the right time. So
yeah.
You saw that time he was a little slower and more careful as he approached
again,
you.
just like I said, right? I pulled my arm back. He knows I'm going for the flick. He knows he's gonna take that. He's gonna take that away from me right there. Pull my arm back, boom, and he closes in.
So if you, I know that you personally like to do a lot of flicking. So if you want to continue to do that strategy with him, how would you adjust it right now? Would you try to make the flick more quickly with less preparation, or move your arm back less, or pretend to flick and finish straight? How would you adapt to that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that at this point, what I would be doing is show the flick, bait the counterattack, and then finish early, like just with my hands straight, right? So right here, show the flick, and then you finish. You know, because his counterattack is predetermined at this point, right?
Yeah.
He reacts when I pull back, right? If I show the pullback and I finish straight, it's kind of game over, right? It's attack counterattack, and I'll score if I get the light on.
Yep.
That being said, like there's so many variations, right? You show the flick, you go for pair repost on the counterattack. There's different stuff that you can do, but I guess in that sense, that doesn't always take away from I can still pull my arm back and still have the option if I'm able to see like him retreating to kind of launch that flick attack. So in that sense, it doesn't take away from my attack and kind of totally like get it out of the door, right? It's always there. It's a back pocket asset, I guess.
Yeah, there's so many things that you can do, and it doesn't mean you have to stop using it. Like you could even also just start the same attack that you're doing just from a slightly farther distance. So there's a lot of options that can be tried. And like I think that's a good lesson to people who, for example, they find themselves in this situation and it's like, oh, the flick isn't working, but there's so much more to it than that, right? Like maybe the distance is wrong, maybe you're showing too much. Like there's so many things you can change to make that still work.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say you're more comfortable going backwards or going forwards?
I've always been, during this competition, it was a little bit easier for me to go backwards.
Just because of your heel?
Because of my ankle, right? So my ankle was in a little bit of, I mean, not in pain, but every time I was lunging, especially, that was when I was getting the full extent of
It's the front ankle for you?
Yeah, it was a front ankle.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, like, it was more of a, but I was very comfortable going backwards. Like, you see, like, I have my arm out, I'm provoking, and when I'm getting him to finish, I'm not in that of a dangerous situation where I don't, like, I'm good with a parry post flick. I'm decent going backwards. But even then, I think a lot of the touches he scores, he's even able to kind of figure that out to some extent.
And one of the things
I wouldn't say I'm more comfortable. I think I'm comfortable going either way. But I did have a little bit of preference going backwards.
Yeah, I remember that day specifically. I saw you going backwards a lot more than I'm used to seeing from you, and I guess that's part of the reason why. So I like the adjustment you made here with the flick being nice and short. There was no preparation. It was just a quick flick. No chance to get a counterattack there from him.
Exactly. Yeah. So even here, right? He steps in slow prep, and then I see the prep lunge, and he goes for the parry post.
Yeah.
A change from the second touch where he went in with a preparation again, right? So, I mean, right now this guy is kind of dominating me, and it's not just because he's a better fencer. I think he's dominating me because he's just tactically beating me.
A step ahead, yeah. And that's a good thing to know too, because when your actions aren't working because your opponent is going through the tactical wheel, that's more information that you can use when you're picking your own actions.
Exactly, right. So here I take a quick break. I know you scored, I think, 3 points in a row, right? You just want to bend your foil, get back into it. I tell myself, all right, come on, let's focus up, let's get this. I don't think it works, but I try to come out firing a little bit harder.
Yeah, I liked how you started this touch by pushing him, because all the other ones you've been pushed backwards. So, and he was off balance there. Like, that was the right moment. It was just, unfortunately, how targets happen.
Yeah, and I guess the mistake I made here is 2 times in the same row, right? 2 times in the same action. I pushed with a stutter step, and then I pushed again with a stutter step, and I mean, that's just bad on me. Like, even that, I don't even think that's tactical will right there. That just negligence on my part of doing the same action, starting the same exact way 2 times from ready fence. And he again, kudos to him, right? He's finishing he gets a prep. He's making that change in 1 touch, right? So it's pretty impressive, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. So here it got the off target, and then the same exact start here, and he knows.
Yeah. And I like that change from you as well. Again, getting ready for that counterattack.
Yep, and now we see, right? Like, he started retreating out, and I was able to finish that attack. Wasn't with a flick, but I was still able to kind of finish that off.
Yeah, so much of fencing is identifying these dangerous situations that your opponent is creating and just not letting those situations happen. And so, again, this is a very good bout from a tactical perspective because, like, the first time you were able to push him really well. The second time you got hit and prep on that push. And so the third time you approach a lot more carefully and don't give him a chance to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's
no slow, and then I was able to finish fast.
Yeah, there's no chance of the danger zone there because as soon as you get through it, he's fallen off balance, and that's a good time to attack.
He's beating me in prep, right there. Bum, bum. Nice. That was a great touch. So he's mixing it up. Like, we see him sometimes trying to get the prep, sometimes mixing up to the parry post.
Yeah, do anything too often and it becomes predictable.
And again, I start to realize, hey, that slow beat, and that fast finish is getting results right now. Even though that last one was off target, he was off balance. I had him right.
Yeah. That was yours.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
No.
That was weird.
Yep. And then I guess, I mean, right when I did that, I guess he started that slow step, able to see the counterattack, and nice finish.
Yeah. So are you trying to change your are you thinking about how you're changing your whole game plan here, or are you just thinking you need to like tighten up certain situations? Because we've already talked about how like you see now what you need to do more of when you're attacking. So would you say that the strategy is working, you're just not executing it well, or you're not happy with the strategy that you're using, or?
Well, so the thing was, like, I see I need to be attacking. The problem is you need to get to a point where you can actually attack from ready fence, right?
Yeah.
So the preparation part, I'm messing up here. I'm either stepping in too big, getting hit in prep, or I'm
Going
stepping
too
in, we
fast
both
and getting
step
parried.
in, and then I commit and he parry post,
Yeah.
or I'm, like, there's so many things, right? So my idea is like, so that time I was thinking, hey, let me give up the box. Let me let him attack. Let me try to get the blade, and then let me start my attack, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving up that prep thing. That wasn't working too well, and I was getting really frustrated. And when the score's 7-2, right, you really have to. It's kind of a make or break moment. So right here, actually, just coming up, what I do is I basically tell myself, like, I want to win this bout, and I'm not doing it. Like, whatever I'm thinking of right now is only getting me to 7-2. He's dominating, right? I need a break. I need to think about this. And essentially what happens is I go, like, I'm cramping my arm. and the referee says, "Are you sure?" And I say, "Yes, I'm sure."
Are you sure?
And then we get the doc out. I was having some muscle tension there, so we're able to get the medic thing. But at this point, like, there's some points where you're just like, you just need a break, and you need to, and like, you have the problem, you have everything to get the break, but you don't want to, just because it's like a further, like, extension of just like, oh, like, you're making the bout longer, like, you're 7-2 down, you have to like pick it up. But right here, I was like, I need to slow it down, and I was able to just kind of like breathe in, breathe out, slow it down for a little bit. I think I take out like 5 minutes of the thing. So, but yeah, right now I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking. I know what has to happen to work, but I need to figure out how to do it properly.
Yeah. And it's good, again, like, momentum is a very real thing in fencing, and if you feel like your opponent is just running touch after touch off on you, you need to do something to just pause and break that up. And you did like a quick pause already, and again, it's still not working, so do something to take a longer pause.
Yep. So right there, right, I got that blade. I know my attack. I don't know why they called that, not mine, but
Okay, they called it his attack, no?
Yeah. I mean, I was searching and he got around. But yeah. Yep. And so, like, right there, rushing again, I'm just trying to win the attack, because I'm always attacking and I'm scoring, but he's not letting me attack. He's really, every time I go forward, I'm faced with some opposition.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, the thing was, like, in Paris, I was attacking. Like, it wasn't who, like, let me attack. It was like, let me step forward. He'll go, okay, you got right away. I'll step back. Right. That's totally changed from now. Right. He has adapted to, I'm going to either get hit on a counterattack or he's going to parry post my prep, but I'm not going to let him push me all the way back.
Yeah.
Like he did in Paris. And like I said, like, that's just a good change by a good fencer. coming in and really focusing, especially in a top 8 bout right now.
Yeah, totally. Ooh.
Yep, great attack by him.
Yeah, very patient. As for me, is we haven't seen anything like that from you so far.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, that was just feeling, right? Like that just not really like you. I saw the prep, I took the pair repost, I missed it, and then my body said, "Oh, we're close enough. Like let's block this out."
Yeah.
That was feeling. I'm trying to get myself hyped, right? Like that's a base thing. I don't feel it, but I'm forcing it. I'm yelling as loud as I can. I'm trying to tell myself that this bout is important. I need to work for this.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Oops, sorry, my fault. Yeah, I like mixing in these counterattacks because to this point, you've pretty much just been going backwards for a while before trying to take the greater pairing.
And I mean, this was a first glimpse of what I found to be actually what was going to lead me to win this bout, right? That counterattack, that early counterattack, right? Not. It wasn't when his slow step came in. It was when his fast step kept in, and I was able to kind of block that out and do that whole turn. That small commitment of just like rather than counterattacking like negligently, but doing that whole turn right when he's about to finish.
Yeah,
that was what was scoring for me. And see from a 9-3 lead, right? We're bringing it back 3 touches, 9-6. It's a whole different game.
Yeah, this would be a good time for him to pause and straighten his weapon.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep. Great touch by him, right?
Yeah.
Even then, like I didn't commit to that counterattack. He's nice parry post and with a preem, that's beautiful.
Yeah. These touches are hard to hit too. Interesting. I thought you started first on that one.
Yep. So I thought that was mine. The problem is like when you're pulling back, it doesn't all like even if you're beating with the feet, right? Like I'm ahead on foot. I think I personally I still believe this is attack counterattack for me, but I understand why the call was that, right? He's committing to a lunge. I'm hesitating with that stutter. So it doesn't even look like a smooth advanced lunge. It looks like a stutter, pull back, and he hits me in prep. What do you think, Andrew?
I mean, in Saber, this would be attack from the right, just purely because the feet started first. But again, like this is one of those situations where in foil it's a little bit different. So I'll trust whatever the referee says.
Yeah. So 12-6. Right. Like I think the biggest, if any, takeaway you get from this bout as a viewer, I think it would be 12-6. Whatever the score it is, it doesn't matter until the bout is officially finished, right? 12-6, like, I know a lot of fencers, and I've fenced a lot of fencers, that when I'm up 12-6, they have this look of despair, and, like, they gave up, and it's over for them, right? No
Yes.
matter, I mean, this is such a cliche, it's a cliche statement, but the fight is... regardless,
Wait,
of
one
this,
sec,
the
one sec.
statement applies.
You just cut out. You said the fight isn't over, and then you stop. Then you cut out for a second.
Oh, okay. So I said, I mean, I think it's a big cliche statement, but I think it's applicable for fencers of all skill levels, right? Like when the fight isn't over until you hit 15 or the time runs out, right?
Yeah,
So,
totally.
so like I mean, and it's just like I forget about this all the time. Like I always make the mistake that when I'm down like 13-7 or something, I'm like, come on, like there's no way I'm scoring like 8 touches before he scores 2, right? But or 12-6. There's no way I'm scoring 9 touches before he scores 3. But like the biggest takeaway I would say is just like you can't give up on any point, right? If you focus on 12-6, I'm going to make it as hard as possible for him to get 15, then you have a chance no matter what, right? So so that was what my thought is. I said, I might lose this bout, but I'm going to go hard. I'm going to make it so hard for him to win. Like, I'm going to make him earn it. And I didn't, and then I stopped thinking about the bout as a whole, right, at this point, I think. And I started thinking about as one touch at a time.
Yeah, exactly. One time I was at a knack and I was losing 12-1 to somebody, and I ended up winning the bout 15-13. And when we were shaking hands, he said to me, "Why didn't you give up?" And I was like, I don't get the question. Like you just said, it's not over until someone hits 15. And if you can outscore me 12-1, I can do the same thing to you. So
Definitely.
I'll always remember that.
I haven't had a 12-1 comeback. That's kind of crazy. I did see some crazy comebacks, and it really just is a derivative of just character, right? Like, it's just like someone that doesn't give up is always going to do well in any sport because they know that, like, they put in the effort, they put in the work, and no matter what the situation is, they continue to put the same amount of effort in each touch, right? Good things happen.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. That was all luck right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a quick change, able to get that. And now I told myself, look, he's been bullying me all day. Let's start pushing him. Let's start making it a little bit difficult. And even on defense, I know that this counterattack is going to be money right there. So 12-6 or 12-9 in like 10 seconds, not bad right there.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do as a person who's getting scored on quickly is just get back on guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So honestly, I think I did not. I mean, I did come in with a big step. I don't think anything was that wrong with my action. It was kind of just a unlucky turn that he was able to close and kind of get it. But so I had this big step with the parry, but I had the blade. So I was thinking I just needed to finish that.
Yep.
So with the big step, I took the blade, kind of devaluing or taking away the counterattack from him.
Yep, right? Totally.
So 13-9, still in my head. I just told myself I can do this, and I remember I think you'll see it when I start screaming it out loud. I just kept on telling myself that affirmation. Yep, that attack's been working all day, and the slow, and then that finish to the straight was working for me.
Ooh, that was close.
Yep. So there, I got that parry repost. He misses his repost, and just by inches, right? Fencing's the sport about inches, right? Yes. There. Oh, I got lucky. I mean, I wouldn't say lucky. I would say that, like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say lucky either.
It was fencing. It was fencing. It was just like a battle, right? It was just happening. Like, that stuff was just happening.
Yeah. And you see how much more carefully he's approaching you right now. So
here I'm screaming, I can do this, and it's only heard by myself and some of the people in the stands. But like, I don't know what. Like, at this point, like, I stopped even thinking about the bout. Like, we often talk about flow state and and like how one gets there. Like, I felt like at this point, like, I was so present in the bout that I didn't care about top 8 at Verona. I didn't care about whether this was a top 64 bout or whether the score was 13-12 or whether, like, what was happening. All I cared about was the one touch. And like, you'll always have this moment. Every fencer has this moment, right, when they feel like they're actually, like, they're just fencing. And it's great to have that moment here, I guess.
Yeah, that's the ideal state to get in, although like you said, it's hard.
Again, getting that off target, still repeating that same affirmation. I can do this.
That was nice.
And so like again, like when you're in this state of just like fencing, right? small stuff like that. I've never done a stop hit. I just pulled it out. Was able to pull it out. And this is kind of a funny touch, just because like I have a reputation for at 7 seconds or like 6 seconds for pulling my arm back and like showing that I'm going to go away, and then kind of rushing and attacking them so they're like unprepared.
I've seen you do that with Adam Matthew.
Yeah, so this reputation has like a lot of people don't like it, and I totally get why. And some people think it's smart. Thank you to them. But the thing is, like, so I started this against Adam, and I do this now all the time. I mean, now that it's so well known, I don't think it gives the same effect as it used to. But I will say that this reputation has preceded just the United States fencing, but now even the European people are like, he don't like Kumbla will put his arm back and then he'll attack me, and
That's funny.
like yeah. So I mean, and he knew that, and he was able to actually kind of do the same thing against me and score that touch. So that was kind of a funny touch. So he's trying to finish the bout 1 second.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And during this break, right, I remember I was just told, like, I wasn't told tactical advice here, or I didn't give myself any tactical advice. I just told myself, I can do this, and I was in this state where I wasn't thinking about or trying to overthink the tactical. If he does this step, I was like, I was telling myself, you can feel it, like you can feel it right when you get on guard. You can feel what he's gonna do. Just react to it and fence it. And like I told myself, look, if I lose, I want to lose trying everything I did. I'll be happy with that. I'll be satisfied losing. But if I freeze up and I'm like trying to overthink something, I don't want to lose like that.
Yeah, it's the difference between striking out swinging and striking out looking.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell he really wants to finish the bout.
Mm-hmm.
Fast
and
attack.
And here, yeah. So,
that was nice.
I mean, that was probably one of my happiest moments of fencing right there. Like, we both come in, both big steps, and it just goes to whoever kind of had the balls to commit, I guess. And luckily I was able to do that on that day. And like I said, like, this is a really important bout for me. I was so happy, and it was kind of surreal in that moment, winning. And it was like a, how do I say this? It was probably like a buildup of everything like you do to work hard, and like sometimes fencing sucks because you lose a lot, and you like lose in practice and you're losing in competitions, and then sometimes it's just that one moment that makes it like kind of all worth it. And then you realize like all those times, those losses, they build up to something that's like kind of life changing. I mean, I would say like that was probably one of the happiest moments of my life. Not even outside of fence. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Fantastic. Yeah. So what if you had to fence him again? And you might not want to talk about this, but would you try to go in with like that same strategy, or knowing him a little bit more better now, would you try to do something else?
Look, I think what I've learned from this bout especially is that like there should be a set strategy if you've consistently lost to someone, but if it's this close, it's 15-14, you guys are going to come in with different ideas, different stuff, right? So it is a really observing, like what I would focus is on observing the first few touches, how it's going, what's working, what's not working, right? Because who knows, if he locks down my counterattack that I've been scoring all day, or if he locks down that attack that I've been scoring in this bout, and the next time we fence, like it's a totally different bout again, right? So I think I've seen him able to adapt, able to change. I think I've seen myself able to change. So I would fence him more on the idea that like we have to see and we have to look and see what's going to happen. I'm not coming in with that many predetermined notions. I think the biggest ones are like, look, he still has this capability to close me out on the flick, on the and finish early in prep and stuff like that. That stuff just like is common knowledge for me right now, right? So like that stuff is the only predetermined like ideas that I have. But that's just like I'm aware. But that stuff works and doesn't work, right? So there's nothing I'm not gonna flick ever. That I rarely come into that come to that thinking.
Yeah, of course you limit your options by doing that, and that's not a good way of thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like you said, it's so important to be flexible, because there have been times when like I've scored on someone in one bout and just like murdered them with a ton of counterattacks, but then the next time, of course, they're very ready for that. So you have to be able to adapt. Like I'll try it in the beginning, of course, but if it's not working, you need to be able to see quickly, like his strategy has changed, I need to change mine too. So
And something about the beauty of fencing itself, right? Like you said, if counterattacks, you scored on counterattacks a lot in the before, and now he's doing now he's finishing early. Like that's the time, like for Saber, I guess. Like right, that's when you see like, hey, now I'm gonna pull him short, and then like get him on there because I know he's finishing early because I'm counterattacking. And then he starts going, oh, damn, he's pulling me short, and he starts rushing, and then you mix that counterattack again, right?
Exactly.
So, I wouldn't ever limit your options. Like, every option is available. Just the moment to choose that option is important.
Yeah, exactly. One of my coaches always told me, like, it's all very logical. You hit him in prep, he wants to finish short. He finishes short, like the next time he wants to go longer. So it's just about encouraging those things and recognizing them and doing them at the right time. So, yeah.
Exactly.
And there's so many options if something is not working. Like we were talking about when you were getting counterattack, when you were trying to do the big flick. Like there's ways you can control that with the distance. You can be a little more on the blade. You can make your flick a little faster. So... Yeah, there's a lot you can do. You just have to, again, it's all very logical. You just have to think about it. So,
yeah, I mean, like they often compare fencing to like mental chess. Like that's an often like comparison. I would go further and be like, at least in chess, like you have set rules and set positions to go, right? You have the pawn can only do this. In fencing, you really have like an unlimited amount of like moves that you can do, right? Like you can finish straight, you can parry repost, you can bait counterattack. Like there's so much stuff you can do. So in that sense, like, I mean, fencing's really like a mental game mixed in with this physical aspect. Definitely.
For sure. Definitely. Sid, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was a fun bout to talk about. So great.